mates! Welcome on board Royal Caribbean's Allure of the Seas, an Oasis-class ship that just received a major refurbishment known as Royal Amplification, and that is why we are here. We are here for the very first 4-night sailing since the dry dock, as well as the next 5-night sailing, back-to-back action. So if you want to see everything in detail, be sure to check out all of the daily videos in our Amplified Allure of the Seas playlist, where you can see all the fun we got into, plus what it was like flying into Barcelona, staying there, getting taxis, doing the metro, all that kind of stuff. If you're preparing for your own cruise from Barcelona or to get on board Allure of the Seas, be sure to check that out. For today's video, I want to take you around and give you a full and complete ship tour of all the public venues on board Allure of the Seas. We'll see everything this ship has to offer, including everything new that was added during the Royal Amplification dry dock process. So let's go ahead and get it started. We're going to take it deck by deck, start all the way down at the bottom, and work our way back up. Let's go ahead and get it started. Our tour of Royal Caribbean's Allure of the Seas begins right now. All right, kicking things off today on deck number 2. As we look at our map and directory here, we see that is the lowest deck that we can access via the stairs or the elevators. So beginning here on deck 2, and more specifically in the aft section. So just as a reminder, here on Allure of the Seas, we're going to have 2 elevator bays and stairwells. We're going to have the forward lobby and the aft lobby, sometimes also referred to as midship. So if you hear me say that, I'm meaning this one. Forward will be the one towards the front of the ship. So here on deck 2, the forward elevators and stairs just lead to the boarding area, the escalators to disembark while you're in port or things like that. You can also do that here in the aft, but we have an area to see, which is the medical facility. And actually, more specifically, if they have the walk-through between the areas blocked off, like it is right now, you need to access it from the port aft lobby. So over here on the left side of the ship, the port side, you'll see the entrance to the medical center here. Just follow the signs, white signs with the green cross, and that'll take you right inside. So that is it for deck number 2. Let's go ahead and head up to 3. All right, beginning deck number 3 now. As we take a look at our directory, we see it's mostly just staterooms here. You can see actually the forward part, that's all you'd be able to access. But if we come here to the aft lobby, we do have the American Icon Grill. So just off the exit of the stairs and elevators here, the entrance to the American Icon Grill. And this is our first of 3 main dining rooms. Now, they're all pretty much connected and they're all pretty much the same. They're just gonna have different names and kind of different themes to accompany those, but it pretty much serves the same purpose, and they're all gonna have the same menus every night. Typically what it is, it'll be divided between 2 of the 3 serving the fixed dining times, so like the early one maybe around 5:30, the late one maybe around 8 or 8:30 or something like that, and then also my time, which means you're flexible to go whenever you would like. So you can kind of get the idea of the theming of the American Icon Grill here. Get the beautiful mural painting in the back, and the chandelier that goes up to the top there. And as we can see, we're open airs to decks 4 and 5, so we're going to see the entrances to those main dining rooms up there. The American Icon Grill is the one here on deck 3, themed after America, cars, road trips, things like that. That's all for deck 3. Going to 4. And we have a lot more to see here on deck 4. As you can see on the map, we're going to be spanning pretty much the entire deck here. But we are at the aft lobby for the elevators and stairs. As we turn right around, we'll find the entrance to the Grande restaurant, or the Grand if you prefer. And this is the main dining room entrance for deck number 4. And as you can see, pretty much kind of the same setup. If you look straight through back there, you can see the painting and the chandelier like we saw from down below. So this is just the entrance for this one on deck 4. But again, all 3 main dining rooms will be serving the same meals every day, so you don't have to worry about that. And just in case it wasn't clear, the main dining rooms are included with your cruise fare. They do not cost additional unless you're choosing one of these premium selections and you want to pay extra for it, you can. Otherwise, everything you will see on the menu is included. Now, just outside the exit of the Grande restaurant, if we turn to the right and head to the starboard side, we will actually see the entrance for Chef's Table. Now, this is a very exclusive dining venue. It is a specialty restaurant, so when you hear me say that, that means it's going to come at an additional cost. It's not included with your cruise fare. This is a very premium experience, small party size, and an exclusive table. You can see the fancy setup there. And so that is, if you really want the top of the line dining experience, this is where you want to come, is at Chef's Table, and you'll find that here on deck 4 in the aft starboard side. And we're going to pass through the elevators and stairs and the entrance to the Grande again. We're going to come over to the port side and find the entrance to Izumi. Now on this ship, it is Izumi, hibachi, and sushi. So 2 different experiences you can have here. The traditional hibachi at like the teppen table, the hibachi table where the chef cooks and prepares the meal in front of you, or the sushi where you can just sit down at a table, order, and they will deliver the food to you. Now, it's not just sushi. I see a lot of people who say, I don't really like sushi, I don't want to eat there. They have ramen, they have teriyaki, they have udon, all kinds of delicious stuff there. Now, both of these, regardless of which side you dine at, are a specialty venue, so they do come at an additional cost. But I always love the entrance. They always have like the samurai armor there. And here you can see the hibachi tables over on this side. They have 3 tables there. Looks like they seat about 10 people per table. And then over on the other side, we have the sushi venue. So a lot calmer over here, and they have the sushi bar over there in the middle. So now that we've seen everything in the aft part of Deck 4, we're going to proceed forward between the elevators here, and we will see the entrance to Casino Royale. Of course, this is the casino on board. It's pretty self-explanatory. So it's going to be a big, sprawling venue because it's going to go the entire width of the ship. Anyone who's been on an Oasis-class ship knows these are very, very wide. So we'll find our bars in the middle here, and then throughout the area, you'll find various table games like Texas Hold'em, blackjack, roulette, craps, and then you'll find slot machines all throughout the venue. They will have TVs broadcasting sports usually, and it's just plenty of options for gambling in here. And I don't think I need to say that this comes at an additional cost. Now, the casino is smoke friendly, so you can smoke inside of the casino, except for a special part of it, which I'm going to show you in a little bit, that's separated from this area. But you can find all kinds of things in here, the casino host desk, the cashier's cages, all of that stuff in here. It just keeps going and going and going. Just give you a pan here to give you an idea. And I mean, this is just half. There's the other half over there, and it just continues on as you're going through on Deck 4 here. And I actually need to amend my statement about smoking. Some of the machines, and so I guess on this half, will say no smoking and you won't see any ashtrays. But if you go to the other half, that will be smoking friendly. So that should be starboard side is smoke friendly, port side is not, at least for now. Always want to check on your sailing. Now, whether you're on the port or the starboard side exiting the casino, you can continue forward here on Deck 4. I'm on the port side right now, and we're going to enter into the art gallery section where they're going to have various art pieces that you can purchase from Park West. That is the onboard art supplier, purveyor. And they have all kinds of different things here, and they will have their desks set up where you can meet with them, do silent auctions, guess the weight, purchase the art, all those different things. So as we exit the hallways from Casino Royale, again on starboard or port side, you can see they're doing a little touch-up paint right now, just out of dry dock, but we will find the entrance to Studio B. Now, the main purpose of Studio B is going to be an ice skating ring, either for you to take part in ice skating yourself, or to watch the fantastic ice skating shows they have on board. Both of those are included with your cruise fare, but they will also host various activities in here as well, besides ice skating. Like you can see, it just said laser tag, Battle for Planet Z. That was added during Royal Amplification. That's also included with your cruise fare. Really fun. Go inside and play some laser tag in there. They'll host trivia. They'll host various group events inside of Studio B. Now, proceeding forward on Deck 4 here, we're going to find a couple of different venues. The first one we will come to is Comedy Live, as the name might suggest. This is the comedy club on board. It does look like it's currently closed, but there's really not much to see. It's just a small venue with some seats in there. If you're interested in attending a comedy show, if they're offering reservations, I would jump on those. A lot of times they're not, and you just need to be first come, first serve. I would get here early because it is typically a small venue that does not seat many people. Across from Comedy Live, we will find the entrance to Blaze, which is currently kind of a nightclub or a mixed-use space. Now, I say currently because on Utopia of the Seas, this is where the attic is, and they've announced plans to change that. Now, I would thought if they were going to change it here on Allure of the Seas that they already would have, and so maybe they're not going to do that here, but just in case, keep it in mind that that's a possibility. But here's a look inside Blaze, the nightclub. Lots of seats, big bar in the middle, performance and dance stage, center area there. So what is the change that's coming to Utopia of the Seas that maybe is going to come to Allure, although again I doubt it since they didn't do it during renovation, but that is that they're changing the attic on a Utopia to another non-smoking Casino Royale section, just like you can see in front of us here. So this is the area I was talking about earlier, is now a sectioned off completely separate area, small, much smaller casino area that you can come in and gamble. They do have slot machines and they do have a few table games as well, some TVs up top, but this is a completely smoke-free environment. And stopping in to get reacclimated and reoriented on our map here. So we started at the back of deck 4, the aft section. Saw the entrance to the Grande Restaurant. Chef's table right here, even though it's not on the map. Izumi came through Casino Royale. Again, it spans the whole width of the ship, so you can come right through and then either way, exit through the hallways. That dumps you back off here, and that's where you can enter into Studio B. We saw the nightclub, Comedy Live, non-smoking Casino Royale, and now there's just one more thing to see here at the forward part, which is the Amber Theater. But before we do that, I want to take this time to point out something. So you might have noticed here this little symbol in the square, this one being the saxophone and the 2 dice. And if we look at our directory, you'll see several of those squares there with different icons, different pictography, and those represent the different neighborhoods on board an Oasis class ship like Allure of the Seas. So you have the entertainment place, that's one neighborhood. You have Central Park, where you see the tree and the bench, the boardwalk, the Royal Promenade. These are different neighborhood areas. You can see them in bold on the directory, and those are going to help keep you oriented so you know which area to go to. So deck 4 forward again here. We were just showing you the map at the elevators. We walk between the elevators and we will find the entrance to the Amber Theater. So this is the main Broadway style theater on board Allure of the Seas, well, the only one, but it's the main theater space, and you can see that it's double deck. So you could enter here on deck 4 or on deck 5. You can enter on deck 4 and take the stairs up to deck 5. Right now, they're just doing some preparations for shore excursions. And just hop up here to deck 5 just to kind of give you the bird's eye view of the theater. So again, we have the upper deck here. We have the main area down below and the beautiful stage right there in the middle. Great seats all around. I do want to point out, you do have some balcony seating on either side, and they also have these little tucked up areas, very private, and have like the little bar rail table there. It's actually a pretty comfortable place to sit, and you actually have a pretty good view of the show when it's going on. So Mamma Mia is going to be the Broadway show here on Allure of the Seas. We saw it last time we sailed here. Absolutely fantastic, highly recommended. With the entrance of the theater covered, we have completed deck 4. Heading on to 5. Deck number 5 now, and this is what I would call the promenade deck. As you can see, Royal Promenade with our logo there. That's going to be our neighborhood for this deck. We're here at the forward elevators. As we turn and face forward, we'll find the upper deck entrance to the Amber Theater. Currently closed off, normally would be open during showtime. So like I mentioned, you can enter here on deck 5, in addition to deck 4 where we entered down below, and you can actually see it just go right across into the upper deck seating. Now from the elevators, we can either turn left and go port or turn right and go starboard. Either way, it will take us outside to the, what I like to call the promenade deck. And this is also where you'll find the walking and jogging track for Allure of the Seas. You see they have the 2 lanes there designated for walking and jogging. And as we come out, we'll find our map here giving you the overview of the area you're going to be jogging around, as well as the distance markers, in case that's of interest to you. I'm not going to walk around and show you the whole thing, because it's pretty much, it looks like this. It's kind of a white, like industrial looking hallway. It is open air to the outside, and you will get some sea views once you pass the lifeboats. You can also head all the way to the back, get a great wake view back there, and even see into the Aqua Theater when they're not doing a show. And if you go all the way forward, there's actually an entrance from the fitness center there, as it designates on the map. But we'll see the main entrance in just a little bit. And back inside at our elevator bay, we're going to turn and head aft, and we will enter into the actual Royal Promenade. Get a view of that right there. See all the lights up top. They'll do different things. Sometimes at night it'll be very colorful. It will change as they're doing little shows, parades, or productions here inside the promenade. You'll also see the skylight windows up there letting in the natural light from Central Park, which we will see in a little bit. Now, the Royal Promenade is basically going to be a big loop here. There's also going to be an upper deck on the second half for deck 6, which we'll get to later. So what we're going to do now is just kind of head down and make the loop to show you everything inside the Royal Promenade. Before we do, one little thing I want to point out. Anytime you see a little telescope statue like this is actually called Small Wonders, and you can come up and look down into it. I don't know if it'll pick up on the camera here. There we go. And there'll be some little kind of art or something to look at, and then a little placard that tells you all about it. So just look for those hidden throughout the ship. All right, so we're going to start by going down the port side of the Royal Promenade here. First thing we'll get to is On Air Club. I'm amazed because on other ships that got amplification, this got turned into Spotlight Karaoke. Not here on Allure of the Seas, it is still the On Air Club. This is a mixed-use space, so they'll do karaoke. As you can see, it's set up for right now. Sometimes they'll be playing live sports on the TV, sometimes it'll be trivia, different things, but you do have a lot of seating here, lots of tables, and a bar over to the side. And across from On Air Club here in the middle, you will find a Starbucks stand. Now, important to note, this is a standalone Starbucks location, which typically does not work with drink packages. So just keep that in mind. If it's a Royal Caribbean bar that's serving Starbucks items, that usually does count under your drink package. But if it's a standalone Starbucks location like this one, it does not typically count, and you will have to pay additional for anything you order there. And as we continue past the entrance to On Air Club, we will start finding some of these shops on board, including The Shop. What a name, so unique. So if you come inside The Shop here, you're gonna find a lot of Royal Caribbean specific merchandise and Allure of the Seas specific merchandise, hats, t-shirts, magnets, keychains, bags, all that fun stuff. Next up past the shop, we will find Solera, which appears to be selling fragrances and cosmetics. And you'll notice that the shops are not currently open. That's because we're in port. Typically when you're stopped in a port, the merchandise shops are not open. That's also typically the case for the casino. Usually only open when you're out at sea, so just keep that in mind. Our final shop in this stretch is Royal Caribbean Port Merchants, and this is going to include some attire, some like hats and dresses, also some cosmetics and things like that. But they'll also have some items you might need like medicines or suntan lotion, sunscreen, sunglasses. They sell those in here as well. Past our shopping, we will find the grand entrance to Bow and Stern. This is the pub on board, and as with any pub on Royal Caribbean, it's going to have the dark woods and the traditional pub feel. So we're gonna have seating out here in the promenade, or you can actually go inside the pub area itself here. Grab a seat, grab a booth, grab a high top. They have the bar running along the entire backside there. Bar rail seating over on the side, and then a small stage for live performances in the evening. Past the Bow and Stern pub, we'll find Pandora selling Pandora jewelry, different kind of necklaces and bracelets and charms and things like that. And I want to point out that right above Pandora, you'll see this kind of glassed off stage area. This is where they'll use to do live performances, music, or like for our sailing, they did flamenco. So if you hear there's going to be a live performance in the Royal Promenade, you might want to look up there. And a staple of Royal Caribbean ships, the fancy car in the promenade, hence why it is typically featured as the icon or the logo for this neighborhood. So next up in line here we have Cafe Promenade. Now this is an important area because it is the only spot that is open 24 hours a day during your sailing. And if you come here and get basic coffees or teas, or if you come, they sometimes, like right now they have fruit, they're switching out the food. Sometimes they'll have pastries or sandwiches, little snacks. Those are all included with your cruise fare. Now you see they have a bar section. They're serving alcoholic drinks, specialty drinks, and specialty coffees. Those do come at an additional cost. However, you see the Starbucks logo there. Like I mentioned, they're serving Starbucks products at this section. So typically that would be included with your cruise fare because it's not a standalone location. And up next past Cafe Promenade, we will find guest services, also open 24 hours a day. So if you have any issues, questions, anything at all that you need addressed, this is where you will want to come. And as we get ready to make the turn and head back up the promenade, our last thing here is Regalia, also selling fine jewelry. And right out here we have our handy dandy map, so we can reference it. Again, it's going to be kind of a loop here, so we went down this side, and now we're here, so we're going to turn and go back up to see the other side of the promenade. Starting with the port and shopping desk, as the name would suggest, if you need any advice on where to shop in the ports, come by during their hours of operation and they will guide you on that. Now next up we find a new venue to Allure of the Seas. It debuted on Utopia, Allure's sister, but now makes its way here after Royal Amplification. That is the Pesky Parrot. So named after the pesky parrot that you can find inside the bar itself. This one's named Brad. It does move, it does talk, so be mindful though, it does also bite. So the Pesky Parrot is a tiki bar. As you can see, the bright colors, the tiki statues and icons throughout. Nice bar there in the middle, and they do serve up frozen drinks as well. While the pesky parrot might be new, across from it is the rising tide bar, which is not new. This is a staple feature of Oasis class ships. So as you can see, it's here right now in the Royal Promenade on deck 5. But why is it called the rising tide bar? Because it will actually rise all the way up to deck 8 in Central Park, where you can get off there or get on board if you're up in that area and then take it back down. It's a nice, slow, gentle ride. They do have the bar on board, serving you drinks the entire time. It's a great way to get a nice view and enjoy the ambiance surrounding. Now proceeding back forward up deck 5 on the starboard side now, we have another store here, which is the Collection, which is going to feature a lot of bags, handbags, backpacks, purses, slings, all that kind of stuff. And then we're going to find one of the most underrated areas on board a Royal Caribbean ship, the next cruise desk. People always ask me, is it worth it to go to the next cruise desk? Is it worth it to book on board? And the answer is absolutely yes, unequivocally yes, because you're going to get the same offers that you would get back on land, but you're going to get reduced deposits, so only $100 per person, and you're also going to get onboard credit and the amount will be based on how long of a sailing you book and what category you book in. So you can come here and speak to any of the experts. They can get you booked on your next cruise. They're also going to have flyers over here telling you about all the different destinations and sailings that are upcoming. And if you're unsure of which cruise you want to go on next, but you do want to take advantage of the onboard offerings, you can do that. You can grab one of these little papers right here, which kind of breaks down the different offers that they currently have going on. Flip it over, and there's an area for you to fill out called the Book Later form. So you're going to put all of that information, fill it out there, give them the authorization to charge your credit card for the deposits, usually non-refundable, slip that in the box here, and they will get you booked. You will then have a year to book before you lose your deposit, or you will also have 2 months to make your decision to still claim that offer. So only 2 months to get the offer, but if you still can't decide after the 2 months, you can use it up to a year before your deposit is forfeit. Any booking you make here at the next cruise desk can be put right under our travel agency, whether you've previously sailed with us or you're new to our agency, so they can put it right there under for you. Just let them know. If for some reason it doesn't get taken care of, we can always transfer it afterward. But yes, it is always 100% worth it to book at the next cruise desk. The only small disclaimer I'll make with that is that I do have people ask me, hey, we're going on a cruise in 6 months. Should we wait to book our next one till we're on board to get the next cruise offer? If you're talking that amount of time, it may not be worth it because prices tend to rise over time. So you might actually wait it out and your cruise price goes up. But if you're within a few weeks or something, or of course you're already on board, definitely recommend it. Continuing our tour of the Royal Promenade here, we will find Sorrento's. This is a Royal Caribbean favorite. It is the pizza joint on board. Usually open late too, not 24 hours, but usually open pretty late, and this is included with your cruise fare. Now they do have a bar here, so if you get any kind of specialty drinks or fresh squeezed juice or anything like that, that will come at an additional cost if you don't have a beverage package of some sort that covers that. But the pizza itself is included, and every day they will typically have pepperoni, cheese, and vegetarian, and then they'll also have a specialty of that day. And right at the entrance to Sorrento's, we will find a couple of Coke Freestyle machines, the first ones we've seen. You will find these throughout the ship. So if you have any kind of beverage package, even the lowest level one, which is the soda package, you're going to receive a souvenir Royal Caribbean tumbler mug that you can fill up at these Coke Freestyle machines as often as you like. So they do have the sensors, that's why you need the cup to utilize it, but you can see they have various products in here. And important to note, it's not just soda. I think a lot of people think that, but you can get Powerade, you can get vitamin water. Sometimes they have tea. I don't see it on this one, but sometimes they do. Different kind of juices and things like that. So you'll utilize those souvenir cups at these Coke Freestyle machines. They're located throughout various parts of the ship. I'll try to point them out as we go along. As we make our way forward, I will point out these little desks and kiosks here in the middle of the promenade. This is where they'll typically have big sales or special offerings on merchandise at various points throughout the cruise, so check there. Next up in line, we find the entrance to Regalia Jewelry, and I mean, it's like they just can't get enough of this jewelry here. You can see inside there, pretty self-explanatory. And next up after Regalia Jewelry, we will find the entrance to Boleros. This is the Latin Lounge on board, and you will hear it in the evening. It gets quite festive in here. large bar in the middle, and then we have seating throughout, the live performance stage tucked up in the back, and what would a Latin lounge be without a dance floor right here in the middle. This is where the party gets hopping every single evening, so if you're looking for the action, come to Boleros. And now, as you can see, there's the entrance to the amphitheater, so we've made our loop. You do see the sign here that says entertainment place with the arrow going down, because you can take the stairs back down to deck 4 there where we were before, but otherwise that is the overview of the Royal Promenade area, at least here on deck 5. Like I said, there's an upper deck, deck 6, over in that section, the aft section, so we'll see that in just a minute. Before we leave this area though, one other thing I want to point out, these windows up here, you might have noticed, those are actually staterooms. They're called promenade view interior rooms. So they're technically interior rooms. You're not going to have a view of the ocean or a balcony or anything like that, but you will have a window looking here into the promenade. And there's actually a handful of these out on the boardwalk as well. We'll see that in just a few minutes. And even though they're listed as promenade view interiors, they actually overlook the boardwalk, which is pretty funny. So just to help us get reoriented, we are exiting the promenade. There's the pesky parrot. We are heading aft. We are heading back to the aft elevator lobby. And now that we've arrived, let's check back in at our map. So again, the entrance to the amphitheater, and then we've made the entire lower deck of the promenade circle. Come through the elevators here. One thing to see on the back side is silk, and this is our final main dining room entrance. Once again, just to recap, included with your cruise fare, same menu as the other dining rooms down below. This is just the top level, and it has kind of like the Far East theme to it. With that covered, we have completed deck 5. Going to 6. Beginning deck 6 here at the aft elevator lobby, and we're going to turn and head right out the back here because we're going to find our next giant area, our next neighborhood on board Allure of the Seas, and that is the boardwalk. Let's head outside. And I say head outside because this is an open air area, so getting some fresh air right now. Very cool on this overcast day. So boardwalk, lots of fun stuff to be had out here. We're also going to have to kind of do a little bit of a loop like we did for the Royal Promenade. So we'll just start on this side and work our way around. Got to shout out my guy Zoltar here. Get your fortunes read. First area we'll come across is Boardwalk Donuts. So sometimes, they're not doing it right now, but sometimes they will have some donuts and pastries that you can grab and take here from Boardwalk Donuts. Those are included with your cruise fare. They have the hours of operation posted here, so only very early it looks like for our sailing, 6:30 to 9:30 every day. If you're past that, you've missed out. Right next door to Boardwalk Donuts, we will find Cups and Scoops. Now this is an additional cost ice cream venue. I will show you included cost ice cream later on, but this is an additional cost, serving up various flavors and sundaes. You can even get cupcakes in here. This is also where they will do cupcake making classes, cupcake decorating classes, I believe. So if you sign up for those, I believe this is where you will be coming. Aha, and it looks like I am correct. Also, I like that owl. Next in line, we will find Playmakers Sports Bar and Arcade, one of our absolute favorite venues on any Royal Caribbean ship, added here to Allure of the Seas during Royal Amplification. As the name and all the TVs would suggest, this is a sports bar on board, but it's not just a bar. They do have drinks, of course, but they also serve food. Now this does come at an additional cost, but it is a much lower cost than you would pay at most specialty dining restaurants. Here's a kind of a quick overview of the drink menu. If you want to see it in detail, check out our daily videos where we actually dine here. And here's a quick look at the actual food menu just to give you an idea of some of the things you can have. Pause it if you'd like to have time to look over it and the different costs. But yes, you can come here and get some actually really delicious bar type food. You can sit out here on the boardwalk. You can go inside the restaurant itself. They have all this sports memorabilia posted throughout, and of course all the TVs to take in the live sports. As we come to the end of the boardwalk, we see in front of us a gigantic thing that was added during Royal Amplification. This is just the exit point of it though. We're gonna get into that later, what that actually is. Right now, we're gonna head right past it. Either side here, port or starboard, you will find the entrance to the Aqua Theater, and you'll also find the entrance to the rock climbing walls. Let's start with those, the rock climbing walls. You can see, I believe they go up 43 feet high, I wanna say. Climb up there and ring the bell. This is an included activity, included with your cruise fare. You do not have to pay any additional for it. To get up to the rock climbing wall, you're gonna head over to the glass there and up the stairwell, and they will get you situated and tagged in there during their hours of operation. Now you see it says rock climbing wall 2 because rock climbing wall 1 is over here on the starboard side. They're mirror images. They're the same thing, so you don't really have to worry about which one you're doing, and both are included, again, with your cruise fare. But here at the very, very back of Allure of the Seas, we will find the Aqua Theater, a feature of Oasis-class ships, and now Icon-class ships, but that's a little bit different. It's done in a different area and in a different style. Here on Allure of the Seas, like Oasis-class ships, other Oasis-class ships, I should say, it is open air. Right on the back of the ship, we got the crown and anchor up there. It's a nice place to take in some wake views. They have different things during the day playing on these TVs, but at night, that's where the spectacle really begins. The Aqua Theater show, now on Allure of the Seas, is Aqua 82, although it's spelled T-O-O, which debuted on Utopia of the Seas, now carries over to Allure of the Seas. It is the successor of Aqua 80, the beloved Aqua Theater show from Oasis of the Seas. Both of these shows featuring music from the 80s. You cannot beat it. It's a fantastic show. On our current sailing, they're only doing rehearsals, but it's supposed to be going on our next sailing. We're on the back-to-back here, so by the time you sail, it should be good to go. Before we turn around and finish our boardwalk tour, I'll point out, see the windows there behind the stage. That's actually the area I was talking about. You can see that rail going along right there. That's along the jogging track, so if you come around to the backside, you'll get the wake view when you're sailing, but if they're not doing a performance, they have the curtains drawn like they do now. The windows are open, so you can kind of look in, which is pretty cool. I'll also point out that behind the large monitors, the jumbotrons there, they do have shuffleboard courts. So if you're looking for shuffleboard, this is where you'll want to come. Okay, turning and heading up the starboard side of the boardwalk now. We are now heading forward. I want to stop and point out these posters. They look like just fun art, but when you see this little logo here, there's actually an app, or excuse me, a feature in the Royal Caribbean app. The Royal Caribbean mobile app, which you should have downloaded for your cruise. It's free to use. You do not need a Wi-Fi package to use the app. You can use it without that. But there's actually a place to play interactive, I guess you would call it augmented reality games, like you can see here, carnival games on the app, and those are free to play, so that's super fun. Next up, we will find Johnny Rockets. I'll be honest, I'm surprised it stayed. You don't usually see too many people taking in Johnny Rockets on board the cruise ships, because it does come at an additional cost. Now, it's the same food you'd get, I believe, at a Johnny Rockets on land, so kind of your typical diner food of fries and burgers and sandwiches, and they have milkshakes and things like that. But one thing to point out, on Oasis-class ships like Allure of the Seas here, they do offer breakfast for free, so you can come and get a complimentary breakfast here at Johnny Rockets. But if you're coming for lunch or dinner, it will cost additional, and they do have the diner-style seating on the inside, like you can see there, the diner counter. So seating in the inside, seating here on the outside. Again, open air on the boardwalk, so straight up above. If it was raining right now, we'd be getting wet. Past Johnny Rockets, we're gonna find a couple of shopping areas, including Star Pier, and this is just another merchandise location. Looks like it's mainly got a tire, a lot of clothes and bags and hats and sunglasses for you to purchase. And here's the next thing I'm surprised by. They didn't change this to Sugar Beach. Sugar Beach has been kind of the new staple of Royal Caribbean sweet shops, but here on Allure of the Seas, they're just keeping it as Candy Beach. So they're gonna have various like stuffed animals and little toys for sale in there, a couple of pre-packaged candies. I actually don't see any grab bag candy like you'll find at Sugar Beach, so maybe that's why. Maybe they didn't want to get into all that again. And if you see this sign that says Pinwheels, it's basically still just Candy Beach Sweets. It's kind of one shop that goes together. They actually tell you to enter over here. So if you see Pinwheels, it's what I just showed you with the Candy Beach there. But now we'll turn and we'll find our last spot here on the boardwalk, which is the Boardwalk Doghouse. This is an included dining establishment serving up hot dogs. Who would have guessed? Well, hot dogs and brats. They have different things. Classic hot dog, chicken and apple sausage, smoked Bavarian bratwurst, and Sicilian pork sausage with all the different toppings. Again, included with your cruise fare. So stop by during the hours of operation to get a hot dog. Now, one final thing to see here on the boardwalk, and that is the icon of the boardwalk, the carousel. Yes, it is a fully functioning and operating carousel featuring the different animals that you can ride on. Plus, they have one of those, like, there it is over there, like a little trolley bench seats, if that's more your style, padded for your comfort. And you'll find the hours of operation posted for the carousel right here. This is included with your cruise fare. No charge, no additional cost to ride the carousel, and anyone can do it. There are no age limits here. Only thing is, You must be at least 42 inches tall to ride alone. If you're under 42 inches, you have to be accompanied by an adult 18 years or older who has to stand next to them, one person per animal, and then all your basic safety instructions. Back inside on deck 6 now, let's have a quick stop at our map to get reoriented. So here at the aft elevators, we went outside and we saw the entire boardwalk area. Now we're going to continue forward and see the upper deck of the promenade. So over here on the port side, the first thing we'll find is the schooner bar. This is a Royal Caribbean staple as well. It is a nautical themed piano bar. I think you'll find it on every single Royal Caribbean ship. So lots of seating throughout here. Piano in the middle. Right now they're doing some trivia, so they have various activities, and then they'll have the bar tucked up in the back. So you can keep going all the way along there, find plenty of seating, find plenty of areas to look over into the promenade as well. And attached to the schooner bar, you'll actually find the loyalty desk. So if you have any questions about the Crown and Anchor Society or loyalty status, you can stop here and speak to them. And now we'll bop over to the starboard side, because important note here, you cannot transverse deck 6 through the promenade. Once you get to the end of the seating of the schooner bar, that's it. It'll be a dead end. And once you get over here past this area I'm about to show you, also a dead end. You will not be able to keep going forward. If you want to go forward on deck 6, you'll have to go back out into the stateroom corridor and then go down. So over here on the starboard side, we will first find shore excursions. So we always recommend booking these ahead of your cruise. It's typically cheaper, and of course there'll be more availability. But if for some reason you need to book a shore excursion on board, you can come up here, tap your SeaPass card, and explore the excursions that you want to book. You can also view your photos here, because this is attached to the Focus Photo Gallery. So both options are available via these self-help kiosks, and at various points of the day they will have attendants here to help you as well. Now, because this is also part of the photo gallery, they're going to be selling photo-centric merchandise, phone cases, GoPros, SD cards, speakers, accessories, all that fun stuff. They even have a special GoPro case here with all those different cameras and accessories. And the kiosks continue as you wind around here, as well as the merchandise cases, things you can purchase. And then at the very end here, you'll find the Picture This photo studio. So throughout your cruise, you'll see professional photo areas set up where the staff can take your photo. But if you want to come and have a private session, get photos like this taken on board, this is where you'll do that at the Picture This photo studio. Now the balcony just kind of wraps around. I like to point this out. This is a great spot to come in and just take in what's going on in the promenade. If there's a parade going on, which sometimes they have, or they're having the live performances over there on the stage I pointed out earlier, this is a great spot to view all of that. But as I mentioned, dead end. You cannot keep going forward. If you wanted to go forward, you would need to actually come through here or go back out to the elevators, get into the stateroom corridor, and then go forward, which is what I'm about to do right now. And as you can see here on the map, we're now at the forward lobby for deck 6. So just quick recap, saw all the boardwalk area, saw the upper deck of the promenade. Again, you cannot continue forward in the promenade. You have to kick out to the exterior stateroom corridor hallways if you want to proceed forward on deck 6, or vice versa, kind of right here. There's really nowhere to go, so you have to do that. One big area to see up here at the forward part deck 6, that is the Vitality at Sea Spa and Fitness Center. Now, I will say this is probably the one thing that got changed during Royal Amplification that I'm not a fan of, which is that they took away the Vitality Cafe, which was located right here, and you could get smoothies and fresh squeezed juices, Powerades, and different kind of things for health and energy, and they just took it away. It's gone now. It's just some seating and merchandise displays, which is pretty unfortunate. I'm not thrilled with that, but you know, it is what it is. We'll take it. So just kind of as you come in here, you'll find the check-in desk for the spa there. They do have the various kind of areas set up to go over different treatment options with you. You have the salon right as you come in. I believe they do definitely nails. I think they do hair as well. And then again, your check-in desk here. If you were to go over to the right, you would find your treatment rooms. That's where the staff will take you if you have that scheduled and reserved. Over here to the left, you'll find the entrance to the fitness center, which you can just help yourself to. You can go right back here whenever the fitness center is open to take it in. And they're gonna have all kinds of things in here: ellipticals, resistance machines, treadmills, facing out the porthole windows so you can get a view as you're sailing. They'll also offer stationary bikes. Again, the weight resistance machines, Then they're gonna have a section of free weights with dumbbells and things like that. It just keeps going over there. They'll have a little area where you can do some yoga, work with some exercise balls. They'll have different classes set up sometimes, so very large space here, spanning the entire width. So you have porthole windows over on the starboard side and on the port side here in the fitness center. And actually, there's our stairwell down. You can see the jogging track down there below. So that was that area that I was talking about earlier. Now that we've covered the spa and fitness center, we are done with deck 6. 7's up. Deck 7 now, if we look at our map as well as our directory, we can see that it is just staterooms, so nothing else to see here, and we can continue to deck 8. Beginning deck 8 now at the forward lobby, and there's actually nothing to see forward, just staterooms, so we're going to turn aft here, head into our next neighborhood, which is Central Park. Before we go in, I want to point out that it is going to be another kind of looping section, so I'll do my best to help us keep oriented. So we're going to start on the starboard side here. We are currently heading aft, so just keep that in mind. And we are outside once again because Central Park is open air, just like the boardwalk is, and it's filled with all of these live plants and trees. So these are actually real plants and trees, so this is a great place to come for some fresh air because, again, open air, getting the sea breeze from above, but you're also getting all the oxygen from the different plants. And they have this nice fancy little map here showing the overlay of Central Park. So let's start with the starboard side and then we'll circle back and come up the port side. First thing we'll find here is Vintages. This is the wine bar on board. So if you're looking to come in, have a glass of wine, this is the place that you want to head to. It's currently closed, but through the magic of a window, we can get an idea of what it's like in there. So as you can see, just a bar there. It's pretty straightforward. Some comfortable seating and then all the wine bottles stored in the back. And as we make our way through Central Park, you might notice these big bulging glass window areas. These are the skylights that we saw down in the Royal Promenade earlier. So this is where that light was coming from. And here's kind of another look at Vintages through the window on this side. Next in line, we'll find Giovanni's Table. This is a specialty restaurant coming at an additional cost, as the name might suggest. It is Italian fare. So there's a look at the menu. So not the new Giovanni's Kitchen. This is the standard original Giovanni's Table. But as with most places or most ships that have a Central Park, like Icon or the Oasis class ships, they do have outdoor dining. So you can dine al fresco. They're also going to have the interior seating as well in the restaurant. Now, something I want to point out with specialty dining restaurants, it's going to cost you a lot more to come to them for dinner. If you have sea days during your sailing, they are typically open for lunch, and it's usually about half the cost. But the food is almost exactly the same and just as delicious, so keep that in mind. And throughout Central Park, you'll find several seating areas. This area is actually usually used in the evening for live music like strings or a jazz quartet or things like that, but you'll find comfortable seating throughout the entire neighborhood. And our final destination, the starboard side of Central Park area, is 150 Central Park. Now this restaurant, specialty dining, so it comes at additional cost. No outside dining. Everything's going to be on the interior here. Now this is typically considered by most to be a little bit fancier, a little bit more refined, I guess you could say, than some of the other specialty dining venues. I guess that's up to interpretation. But as you can see inside here, it does have a pretty festive appearance, pretty regal look to it. So kind of keeps going over there. Sorry about the glare, but you can just get an idea. Tables, chairs, it's a restaurant. So yeah, if you want to come and dine here, it does come at an additional cost, so just keep that in mind. Now you might be wondering how much. You keep saying these restaurants are coming at additional cost. How much do they cost? Well, that depends. It's not a set pricing. It varies depending on the sailing and the time of year and the promotions they have going on, blah, 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 blah. So you'll just have to check for your sailing. However, for most specialty dining venues like 150 Central Park we just saw, or Chops Grill that we're about to look at here, it is usually a cover charge. So it's usually a set charge just to get in the door. Once you're in, you can order whatever you want. There are exceptions to that, but for the most part, generally speaking, that's how Royal Caribbean specialty restaurants work. Now, before we proceed over to Chops Grill and head back up the port side of Central Park, I just wanted to point out that we're at the end here. This goes through to the aft elevators and stairs. I will point out this little hidden feature, though, on this ship. They've done away with it on some others, but here on Allure of the Seas, if you were to go up to deck 9 and then come out, they actually have these little private balconies there. Those aren't rooms. Those are just anyone can sit there. Now, these windows and balconies are rooms. So we kind of mentioned earlier in the promenade how you had the interior promenade view. These are interior Central Park view. So again, No ocean view, no balcony, but you would have a window looking into Central Park here. Above that, you will find the Central Park balconies. So this you will actually be able to come outside onto, get some fresh air. You just would not have ocean views, just a view of Central Park. They do also offer a balcony option on the boardwalk. I didn't point that out earlier, but this same kind of setup. The only thing to keep in mind, there is a very big lack of privacy because you're facing each other on either side. So keep those curtains drawn and make sure you're mindful of that. But you do have this option if you want to try to save a little bit of money, or if you don't want to look at the ocean, you can have a Central Park balcony room or a boardwalk balcony room or an interior with a window. Okay, heading back up on the port side now of Central Park, and we will find Chops Grill. This is a specialty restaurant, like I mentioned, additional cost, but this is the steakhouse on board Royal Caribbean ships. So a lot of people, if you like steak, you'll like Chops Grill. They do have the interior seating, but this restaurant also features exterior dining outside. And the cool thing with this one is, I don't know why they don't do this with all the restaurants. They always just do it with Chops Grill. They actually put the glass up above. So if it was to start raining, you would stay dry. You could still dine out here. I don't know why they don't do that with Giovanni's and other places, but hey, at least they have it for Chops Grill. And across from Chops Grill, we will see all these doors and windows here. This is the upper level of the Rising Tide Bar, what we saw down in the promenade. In fact, you can actually look down in the promenade and see the bar down there below. So this is where it will conclude its journey, or begin it if you're going to do the not Rising Tide Bar, the Lowering Tide Bar, the Descending Tide Bar. Either way, you can get on or off here at Central Park and take that up and down. Next in line, we will find the Trellis Bar, so named after the trellis that it sits under. Just a bar, just a place to get some drinks and have a nice seat outside here in the beautiful open air. Next in line, we will find Park Cafe. Now this is a dining venue, but it's not specialty dining. This doesn't cost additional. This is included with your cruise fare, and it's going to be a more casual fare, but usually some healthier options. They have fruit in there. Usually they'll have salad. You can have them make a salad for you, grab and go sandwiches, different things like that, pastries in the morning. And they also have a bar in here doing specialty drinks, or like fresh squeezed orange juice. And then they have a special self-serve drink area over there as well. And in addition, they have a nice outdoor seating section so you can dine outside, listen to the birds chirping, and get the fresh air. Now, tucked up in the trees and bushes here is our final portion of Central Park on the port side. We do have some more shops. In case you didn't get enough of the jewelry up in the Royal Promenade, we have 3 singular cases for you to choose from. I mean, that's a little bit of hyperbole, but kind of also the truth. It's funny how they prioritize that instead of other things in the space, but hey, what are you gonna do? So again, some more jewelry over here, watches and things like that that you can purchase. And now that we've seen those retail shops, we have completed our loop here of Central Park. So now we're gonna head back this way and head through the aft elevator bay. As we exit Central Park, I just wanted to revisit the staterooms we were talking about. If you want to get an idea of what these staterooms are like, go find our video from our original Allure of the Seas sailing that we did from Galveston when Royal Caribbean opened its new terminal out there. We were on a preview sailing, so it was a trade sailing. It wasn't a revenue sailing with regular sailing guests. So they had all the stateroom categories open for us to view and tour. So we did a video compilation showing all of those, all the different categories, all the different category of suites. The only thing you won't see is the new panoramic, ultimate panoramic suites that were added during Royal Amplification, but those aren't even ready yet, actually. They're still working on those, so they're not even available for the first several sailings here. But if you want to see a Central Park balcony, a Central Park interior, a boardwalk balcony, any of the suites, ocean view, interior, anything, check that video out and you'll get an idea what those rooms are like. Okay, checking back in on our map here again. Forward part of deck 8, just staterooms. Then we saw Central Park on the interior there. Now we turn on the aft, we find one last venue to see, and that is Dazzles, which has a beautiful dazzling entry with the fiber optic multicolor lights there. This is a mixed-use space, so they'll do various things throughout the cruise. In the evening, live music, and it gets quite loud and hopping in here, but enjoyable nonetheless. So you can see plenty of seating throughout. You have the bar over on the side, stage there in the middle, and the beautiful floor-to-ceiling windows taking the view of the boardwalk, the aqua theater out in the back. Now, as you might notice, there's an upper deck there. So this is 2 stories here in Dazzle, so we'll see the entrance to the upper deck there in just a minute, but it's just additional seating up there, really is all that it is. Now that we've been dazzled, we've completed deck 8, let's go to 9. Deck number 9 now, and this one's actually pretty easy because it's mostly just staterooms. The only thing to see other than staterooms is that aforementioned upper deck of Dazzles. And as we come in the doors, they have the fiber optic lights in here as well for the entrance. So again, the upper deck area here just features additional seating. Sometimes when they've made this spot different venues on other ships, they've added like a pool table if it was music hall or something like that. But here on Allure of the Seas with Dazzles, the upper deck, just additional seating. Although some kind of more VIP style seating, a little bit more private with the booths, and a little bit better view out the floor-to-ceiling windows in the back, down to the stage down below, and we're open air here to the lower deck, so no problem hearing the music. I mean, no problem. And like I said, Dazzles was the only thing to see here on deck 9, so we can continue to 10. Deck number 10 now, just staterooms. Let's go to 11. Deck number 11, also just staterooms. On to 12. Deck number 12, just staterooms. I haven't done my Michael Scott joke in a while, so I'll do it here. Royal Caribbean isn't superstitious, but they are a little stitious. No deck 13, let's go to 14. And our run of just staterooms has come to an end with deck 14, but it is mostly staterooms. Just a couple things to see here. In the aft, we have one thing to see. As we turn off the aft elevators, we'll find the entrance to the Royal Escape Room. Here on Allure of the Seas, this was added during Royal Amplification, so a new addition and actually a new experience. You see it says Mission Control is currently closed. This is the Lunar Landing Mission Control. So they've had other space-themed escape rooms, but not quite this one, so a brand new experience. Now, with that said, I've always justified Royal Caribbean charging additional for escape rooms in the past, because otherwise everyone would do it, it would get bogged down. I get it. On our sailing, they are charging $44 per person to do this. I think that is outlandish. I think it's out of this world, ridiculous, because you can get a private escape room experience back on land for much less than that. And this is not private. This is public. You will be playing with others, and you must be at least 12 years old to play. Keep that in mind. So now that we've seen the Royal Escape Room, and because we have Central Park ahead of us, which is open air, there's no way to transverse in the middle. So we have to kick out to the stateroom corridor hallway and go forward. Okie dokie. So now at the forward part of deck 14, the forward elevators, we turn forward and see the very colorful entrance to Adventure Ocean. Now, for those who aren't in the know, Adventure Ocean is the name of Royal Caribbean's kids club and kids area on board their ship. So as we head in here, get the beautiful rainbow colored hallway and drops us right off at the AO Theater. They don't usually have this right here in the forward part. So this is a theater just for the kids, do puppet shows, movies, different things like that. And then you'll have the different rooms sectioned off by the age groups, like AO Junior is for 3 to 5 years old. They have their own little playroom in there. So we turn around here, even smaller. AO babies, 6 to 36 months. It's like a little nursery area inside. Then we continue going forward, and we'll find the big playground area, play place. I'm not going to show anything in detail since we're in the kids area here. Just want to keep it moving. But just know that you have these different sectioned off areas. Workshop, they'll do like different arts and crafts or do different science activities. That one's in there right now, so you can see that. And then the hangout, which is for 6 to 12 years old. So every age group is going to have their special sectioned off area. And now that we have Adventure Ocean covered and the card room, no, not anymore. This is an old map. It hasn't been updated yet. That was the escape room. But now that we have both of those covered, we are complete with deck 14, beginning deck 15. Up on deck 15 now, and this is our pool deck, our pool and sports zone. That's our neighborhood now. Lots and lots and lots of things to see here. Before we begin though, I want to point out a couple of things. Central Park and Central Park. So there's an open air area. This is a little bridge in the middle that goes across. So basically, if you're going anywhere on this pool deck, you need to be on the sides because you won't be able to go through the middle. Now it's the same back here at the sports court. This is down to the boardwalks. It's open air through there. So again, you kind of work your way around the perimeter. Now we're here at the forward elevator, so let's go ahead and turn forward and we'll see the solarium area. So right when we come outside off the elevator area, either port side or starboard side, we will find a nice big hot tub with glass in hanging over the side of the ship, and they do have the TVs usually playing live sports there as well. That's for anyone to use. But now as we turn forward, we'll see the sign for the entrance to the solarium, and as it says, adult area ahead, guests 18 and up. Now solariums used to be for 16 and up, but they've now changed it to 18 and up. So as you come in here, the solarium is technically going to be an open air area because it is open there and there. There are breaks in the windows, but it's glassed in floor to ceiling all the way around. They do have a towel stand in here. But one thing we want to point out, something new here, Samba Grill. Now this doesn't replace the Solarium Bistro. The Solarium Bistro is still here. The Solarium Bistro is included with your cruise fare, and they used to do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But now, with Allure of the Seas getting amplified, they've added Samba Grill, which as you can see is a Brazilian steakhouse. And this is specialty dining. This does come at an additional cost, but you can get all your starters. They'll come and serve you some fresh carved meats right at your table, and dessert, of course. So lots of good stuff to have here. Now that they've added Samba Grill, it is sharing the space with Solarium Bistro. As we proceed through the Solarium, what we're gonna find, tons and tons of lounge chairs, day beds, tables and chairs, fountains. It's gonna be a relaxing space for you to come and unwind. They have some hot tubs in here. They have small little pools, like you can see here, with the plunge pool right there in the middle. And then over on the other side, it's basically a mirror image. More chairs, more day beds, more loungers, and another hot tub with the restaurant in the middle and the upper deck above that. And the interesting thing with this solarium, the way it's designed, is you can actually come outside here. There's not even a door, it's just kind of an archway, and you can come through outside of the glass and really be open air. And out here, they're gonna have more lounge chairs and day beds and places to unwind, relax, get some sun on a sunny day, take in the breeze. And you are at the very forward part of the ship. So as the ship is sailing, you will see where you're going in a great view here. Now, if we look down there, we see the helipad. And I want to point out, on Oasis class ships, you do not have the ability to access the helipad. So you won't need to worry about that on this vessel. You can enjoy the great views here. And on either side of this area, port or starboard, you can come out on these little wings that jut out from the rest of the ship and kind of give you some great, almost 270-degree views. So forward with the helipad and where you're sailing, or you can look to whatever side you're on, port or starboard, and then you can even look back and get a great view of the ship itself. Now, instead of saving the upper deck section from when we're actually on deck 16, I'm just gonna go ahead and head up right now because this is pretty much where you'll access it from. So the stairs on either side is sending you above the small little fountain pond area there. As you can see by the glass from above, we are still in the solarium, still a lot of lounge spaces here, but this is where we will find the solarium bar, located here in the center. One thing to note, this area is not sectioned off as much as it was down below on deck 15 where we had to go through the doors. You kind of just have the small divider and then it's right back out to the main pool deck. So there's a chance this area could be a little bit louder, could have some kids running through or teenagers. Just keep that in mind, but technically this is still all part of the solarium. Let's head back downstairs. All right, as we exit the solarium and head aft, doesn't matter what side of the ship we're on, we're going to enter in the main pool deck area. But here in the middle, what we're gonna find towards the forward part is the perfect storm. These are the water slides on board, and they were added during Royal Amplification. So we're gonna have a few different options. Over here on the port side of the ship, you're gonna see these orange and pink body slides. This is the Typhoon and the Cyclone, so just standard body slides. They start up there at the top, you go through, the light shines through the different holes and the different cutouts, gives you all these cool effects with like flashing lights. It's not really flashing lights, but it looks like it. And then they also both have a clear section that you can see through as you actually dip out over the drop down to Central Park. So a lot of fun to be had there. And over on this side, the blue and green one, is gonna be the Supercell. It's gonna start with a steeper drop at the beginning. It's also gonna have a clear section that goes out over the drop off to Central Park, but then it's gonna end in the big bowl that you spin around and around and around in until you have the big drop down at the end where you splash down with a little steep drop there. Now, all three of the Perfect Storm water slides are included with your cruise fare. Just a couple of things to note in terms of restrictions. For the Typhoon and the Cyclone, there is a minimum height of 48 inches and a maximum weight of 300 pounds, whereas the Supercell has a minimum height of 52 inches and a maximum weight of 243 pounds. Now this is interesting because we just did a video yesterday about all the new things on Allure of the Seas, and when we checked the app, this was not what it said. There was only a height requirement here, no weight requirement, and over here the height requirement was the same as this one and the weight was 300 pounds. So this is clearly different. So I would go by this since this is what's actually posted here on a full sign. Just keep in mind, no cell phones, GoPros, cameras, you can't take anything on the slides with you. But they do have this little cubby area here right before you ascend the stairs where you can store your stuff while you're riding. As we proceed along the pool deck on either side, you will have the chairs, lounge chairs, and the tables, but I will point out on the port side is where you will find the smoking section. So you'll see all the ashtrays over there on those tables in the designated area that you can smoke. Now here we have the splashdown area of the Supercell, and then we'll find a hot tub, And then we find our 0 entry kind of beach pool here. So it just kind of goes right in, a little nice wade into the shallows, and then you have the drop off in the actual pool area itself, plus all the lounge chairs throughout, and another hot tub on the other side. We also have all these colorful chairs and lounge chairs along the middle section here. Again, this is the drop off to Central Park. This is all open air all the way down to Central Park here. We can see the slides on either side. You board from the front at that stairwell there, and then over on that side, we have another pool. So there's a pool on either side, there's hot tubs on either side, there's lounge chairs on either side, just the smoking section over on the port side. As we come through the middle here, we see our beautiful mural in all the colors, because this is now the lime and coconut with the Caribbean pool deck. During Royal Amplification, this was completely renovated, added all the color, added all the fun pops, added the lime and coconut bar, which is a fan favorite. You do have the stage right here in the middle. This is that little bridge I was talking about that you can go across from either side to side. The stage there in the middle for live music performances, and then you're gonna have the bar on either side. Lime and coconut bar over on the starboard side, lime and coconut bar over on the port side. We'll also see some more up above in just a few minutes. And of course, lime and coconut's got those cool, colorful Caribbean flair. And behind the lime and coconut bar on the port side of deck 15, we'll find Sprinkles, the complimentary self-serve ice cream station. As we proceed to the back of the pool deck section, we'll find tons and tons of sun loungers, of course your towel station to get your complimentary towels, and life vests should you need them. Then we'll find another pool over on this area. This is over on the port side, so another swimming pool as well as a hot tub. Let's head over to the starboard side, because there is something else new over on this side that was added during the Royal Amplification, which is Splashaway Bay. This is the kids' splash play pad area. I know this is always a huge hit. Of course, we are travel agents. That's why I mentioned we were at the trade sailing earlier. We are travel agents, and our services are completely free, and we partner directly with the Royal Caribbean, and you'll never pay more to book with us than you would direct on your own. I'll get into more detail of that at the end of the video. But anyways, I know our clients as travel agents who have kids are always looking for a splash play area. So they've added Splashaway Bay here to Allure of the Seas. You have all the different spray jets, the bubblers, the smaller slides, the bigger tube slide. All of that fun stuff can be had here. Plus, the big Royal Caribbean bucket that will fill up and dump over everyone. And right across from Splashaway Bay, we'll find Baby Bay, which just has small little twirlers and jets and a small tiny little slide. Now, as we proceed aft on deck 15 here, you can either stay on the outside or you can go inside. Let's go inside for just a few minutes and then we'll be right back out. All right, stopping in at our map to get reoriented here. So we went through the entire solarium, the Samba Grill and Solarium Bistro. Saw the beach pool, the main pool, sports pool, and now the Splashaway Bay with the Baby Bay, and of course the lime and coconut bar all throughout the pool deck area. So now we're on the inside. Like I mentioned, you can stay on the outside for either way to get to the back, but we're on the inside here. I'm going to show you these different little venues that you can access from inside. So on the starboard side, right before you head back outside, we'll turn and find Breeze. Now, I think this is interesting because on a lot of new ships, or when they've amplified ships, this area has become kind of like a self-service vending machine shopping area, but now they've just made it an actual little shop here. So I see they have like snacks and sunscreen and different medicines and things like that inside. So I don't know, kind of like a poolside shop here. Directly across from Breeze, we will find the entrance to the arcade on board. Now this does come at an additional cost. As always, I'll remind you though, if you know you're going to play in the arcade on board, you might want to consider purchasing some arcade credits via the My Royal Cruise section of Royal Caribbean's website before your cruise, because you will get a 20% discount as opposed to purchasing them on board. So you can use just your SeaPass card if you do have charging privileges. If not, you can purchase an arcade card to use at the different machines. We're not using coins or tokens, they're using cards here. You'll tap them with these little readers and it'll deduct the amount that it takes. Ooh, Laughing Madness, the best one. Air hockey with all the little pucks, so cool. So yeah, tons of games in here, racers, call games, skee-ball, all kinds of fun to be had. And it will virtually track the tickets that you earn, so not paper tickets, but virtual tickets tracked on your SeaPass card or your arcade card that you can redeem at the prize hub normally, but not right now. All right, back outside now. You see Splashaway Bay over there. I want to point out they do have ping pong tables on either side in this glassed off area. And as we turn and head aft, we will find the next venue that was added during Royal Amplification. That is El Loco Fresh. Now, for a while in Allure of the Seas, they had the Wipeout Cafe back here, and they were featuring El Loco Fresh items. Now it actually is El Loco Fresh. So you're gonna have all that great Mexican cuisine here, lots of seating throughout. So you just come in here and you can help yourself. They're gonna have quesadillas, pre-made burritos, chips and cheese and chili. You can also just get chicken and beef and pile it on and all that good stuff right here. And they have 2 sections servicing it up. And it wouldn't be a cantina without a toppings bar. So we've got lettuce, onion, cheese, limes, jalapeno, sour cream, tomato salsa, and guacamole, plus a section of sauces that you can add. Just around the corner, they have the self-service drink station with water and lemonade and fruit punch, and then another one of those Coke Freestyle machines that you can use if you have a package. Now, El Loco Fresh butts right up against the sports deck, which is kind of going to be a little bit of a semicircle here. We'll get to all that in just a second. I'm going to actually cut through the middle here, a couple things to see. Number one, I want to point out this bar rail seating, which has a great view down into the boardwalk and the Ultimate Abyss slide, Aqua Theater, and out to the wake. But if we turn around, we'll actually find the new section, the new location, I should say, for the Crown Lounge. Now, this is for the upper level members of the Crown and Anchor Society, which is Royal Caribbean's loyalty program. So you need to be either Diamond, Diamond Plus, or Pinnacle to be able to access this lounge. So you just tap your SeaPass card right there, and then you can head inside. So as we come in, we see they have some lounge chairs throughout. They also have a concierge table if you need assistance with anything. And then as we come into the back, we'll see they have a coffee and tea section there. And they also have a specialty coffee machine that's free to use. If you have access to the lounge, you can order up a specialty coffee from the machine there. And then they'll have little snacks that change throughout the day. Fruits, cookies, sometimes they'll do little sandwiches, finger sandwiches, different things like that. Now, as we wrap around through our middle section here, just off of the Crown Lounge, see all these flower boxes. It's nice, like built out like it's a house. Doors here, what could this be? It even continues over here on the port side with all the rocking chairs, the lattice work, the flowers, the grass, because this is the entrance, the new entrance to the Mason Jar, which was also added during Royal Amplification, a southern restaurant and bar. So this is a specialty restaurant coming at an additional cost, serving dinner every night of your cruise and brunch on sea days, a different menu for brunch than dinner. A really great spot. This debuted on Wonder of the Seas, and we've seen it added on other ships as well. Now making its way here on Allure of the Seas with the brand new entrance and a much larger space, which I think is a lot better. All right, now that we've covered the Mason Jar, we've seen all the areas on the interior, and now we can do our sports court, area, a little semicircle loop. Starting with the Allure Dunes. This is the mini golf course on board, 9 holes, complimentary, no additional cost for this. I will say they did not change this. On other ships, they've kind of updated it with like sea creatures or different kind of obstacles and activities. They just stuck with the kind of garden party theme that they had before here. As we look here, we see this little landing area and we see this zip line. That is an actual zip line. On board Oasis class ships, you can zip line. Free, complimentary, included with your cruise fare. You board there over on that platform where they're working and zip your way right across to the landing. And of course, we are above the boardwalk, so you're gonna drop down several stories there. You're gonna have to zip right above all that, so it will take some bravery to get it done. We see our entrance to the zip line here, and this is actually going to be kind of the whole activities area. So for the zip line, we see the different rules that are listed here. And over here on the other side where you'll actually enter the boarding area for the zip line, and you can see they have the height measure here for the flow riders as well. So if you want a boogie board, you must be 52 inches tall. If you want to do the surfboard, you must be 58 inches tall. So all that you're going to sign up for right here at this desk. They currently have it closed, but you'll sign your waivers and get signed up for these various activities. So when I say flow rider, it is a surf simulator. We have one on this side, on the starboard, one on the port side as well. And one will usually be set up for the boogie boarding that you'll do on your knees, and one will usually be set up for standing up and surfing. But that can vary. So just keep in mind, these are included with your cruise fare, no additional cost to utilize the flow rider. And checking into the various signs, I'm not seeing any height or weight requirements for the zip line. That doesn't mean there aren't. I'm just not seeing them posted anywhere. And I don't see any weight requirements for the flow rider, just these aforementioned height requirements for the various methods. We saw the flow rider on the starboard side. Here's a look at the one on the port side, and it does have this stadium style seating so you can watch people partake. And then here at the very back end, we kind of touched on it earlier when we were down at the boardwalk with the exit area. Here's the beginning of it all, the Ultimate Abyss. Again, this was added during Royal Amplification, and this is a dry slide. It's not a water slide. You're actually going to ride in a sack. You can see there, you put your legs inside of it just like that. Now, one person at a time, you must be at least 44 inches tall, and max weight is 330 pounds, and you typically cannot have any kind of loose articles, even lanyards and stuff. You have to tuck in. They're pretty serious about that. But once it's open and ready, you'll grab your sack, you'll head up the stairs here, go on either side, and you're actually going to have a glass floor there at the boarding area, so you can look straight down to where you're about to go. And then once they give you the all clear, you get in the slide and you head down, and we're up here on deck 16, basically, because we went up the stairs, and then you kind of have to go up the stairs again. So all the way down to deck 6, so 10 stories down through the slide. Very fast, very dark, but of course, very fun. Our last thing to point out in this area is the Wipeout bar. So this is just typically just a bar space where you can get some drinks, and they do have some TVs there. But now they have added shaved ice at Wipeout bar. Now this does come at additional costs. You can see $6 for small, $9 for large. They have all the different flavors. You can choose up to 3. You can even do some toppings for 50 cents each. If you're feeling bold, you can make it a boozy adult combination as well. So there's a lot of options with the shaved ice at the Wipeout bar. Wrapping up our sports court area here, over on the starboard side, we will find the basketball court. You see it's full-size court. They have the hoops at either end. Right now they have it set up for pickleball. They'll also set it up for volleyball and soccer, different activities throughout your cruise, sometimes dodgeball even. All of that happening here on the sports court. And before we leave, here's a look at those aforementioned boardwalk balcony rooms, just like the Central Park balcony rooms that we saw. So it's completely open air. You can come out, you can be on your balcony. Even with these, you can have a little bit of a view of the ocean depending on where you're located. But again, as you can see, I'm looking right over at people's balconies. I'm not trying to, but you can. And so just there is a lack of privacy. Just keep that in mind. Whew, that was a lot to take in. So one last look at our map here on deck 15, just for good measure. Again, we started with the Solarium, Samba Grill / the Solarium Bistro, the whole pool deck area, the new water slides, the new Splashaway Bay. Then we saw the arcade, and now Loco Fresh, the Mason Jar, the Crown Lounge. What we didn't see is Social 298, because that is an entrance off of the arcade, which I actually didn't see marked. Let's head back inside really quick and see if we can show you that. This is the teens area on board. Before we head back in there though, we did come out here. We saw the golf course and the flow riders. The Ultimate Abyss entrance was up here, the zip line, and the sports court. Let's take a look and see if we can see the entrance to that. So all the way in the back right corner of the arcade, no wonder I missed it. It is tucked out, I mean literally, like the corner behind the machines. You'll see the sign, Social 298, exclusively for ages 13 through 17. I don't know that anyone's in here, so I think we can have a quick look. Oh, there are some. So they got a hangout space in there, space for activities, just a teens only space. Okay, now that we saw the entrance to Social 298 in the arcade there, we have seen everything on deck 15. We're going to 16. All right, deck 16 now. We are at the aft lobby, and we're actually seeing a lot of deck 16 already, because if we look here at the forward part, Solarium Bar is the only thing forward. We saw that. We've kind of seen the upper deck to the pool deck, but we'll take a better look at it in just a second. And if we look out the back section, we have the flow riders, the zip line, the Ultimate Abyss. We already saw all that. You access it from deck 15, so we've already covered that part of deck 16. So the only thing to see here, the upper deck of the pool deck and the Windjammer Marketplace. So of course the Windjammer Marketplace is the buffet on board Royal Caribbean ships. As such, it is included with your cruise fare and typically open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, like with most buffets, it's going to be set up in a very specific way. You're going to have the floor-to-ceiling windows all along the perimeter, and that's where the tables and chairs are going to be. Then you're going to have your food and drink stations here on the inside. You'll also find Coke Freestyle machines here in the Windjammer as well. And this is just going to wrap around kind of in a semicircle. The starboard side is going to be the same as here on the port side with the different food stations. And again, the tables and chairs along the windows. You'll have your complimentary drink stations in here as well. food stations continue, and then tables and chairs here along the back. So now you still have floor-to-ceiling windows, still plenty of places to sit, but now you'll have views of the sports court and the zip line and all that stuff instead of the port or the ocean if you're sailing. And then it just loops around and keeps continuing here. Lots of seating along the backside here. I'll tell you, a lot of people don't know to come back here. So if you're having trouble finding a seat, I would head this way. And as we wrap around to the starboard side, again, it's just going to be a mirror image. Tables and chairs on the outside, food and drinks on the inside. So now that we've covered that, we've completed the entire back section. We've already done the forward, so let's just check out the middle, the upper deck of the pool deck area. And before we head outside, we actually get a good view here from the windows. So we're going to be on this upper deck walkway here, walking around, and we'll be looking down below to the areas we've already covered with the pool deck, and then even further down below to Central Park. So as we come out to the upper deck of the pool deck here on deck 16, what we're going to find is a ton of sun loungers, as well as these little colorful casitas. Now the interesting thing is there's usually an additional charge for these. Usually reserve these for your own private use. That hasn't been the case on our sailing. I don't know if they're just not ready to do that yet, or if they're going to try just leaving these up for people to grab on Allure of the Seas here, or maybe just while it's in the Mediterranean. Just keep that in mind for your sailing. It could be different, but you can see that they're scattered throughout the pool deck area. So lots of lounge chairs, lots of day beds, and of course the lime and coconut bar on either side here. You'll also find hot tubs overlooking the pool deck area, freshwater showers, and a nice viewing area for the supercell. If you want to watch people go around and around in the bowl, head over there. There's a nice window to look in on that. And just like down below on deck 15, we can kind of take this little walkway across here in the middle to get to the other side, where we will find more of the same: hot tub, casitas, lounge chairs, comfortable seating, and the lime and coconut bar. Casita check-in here. I haven't seen this yet. So I guess they are planning on doing reservations. They just haven't started it yet. Well, when they do, if you have one, this is where you'll check in. Lime and coconut, deck 16 on the port side. Back at our map here at the forward part of deck 16, the elevators at the forward bay. And again, we've already seen the Solarium bar, so we've covered all of deck 16. Now here's what's interesting. We look down our directory, we see deck 17, but actually, if we look here on our map, we see our elevators here at the forward part only go up to 16. If you want to go to 17 with the elevators, you have to be in the aft. That's because the only thing forward on deck 17 is the suite deck, which is an outside area. You actually access that here on 16 via an exterior stairwell. I will show you that in just a second. Then we're gonna have to walk back down on 16 to access the rest of 17 because it is in the aft section. So with that said, let's make our way to 17. All right, back outside on deck 16, the pool deck right next to the water slides here. You will see this stairwell with this sign: reserve deck for Star, Sky, and Pinnacle. So if you're in Royal Suite class, in the Star class, which is the highest, Sky class, which is the middle, you have access to this. Not technically supposed to be for the C class, which is the lowest. If you're a Pinnacle member of the Crown and Anchor Society, which is the highest level, you also have access here. So you'll just tap your C Pass card or your WOW band. As you see, it says for access, which I haven't really covered WOW bands. If you're familiar with Disney and Magic bands, it's the same kind of concept. You can use those on certain classes of ships, Oasis class and Quantum class, and I think Icon also has them as well. But that's another story for another day. For now, we actually can go up here. We could. I think they have it closed off right now, even though the door was technically open. But it just heads up to the Suite Sun deck. So you can see that there's this area that says Suite Sun Zone. There's a bar right there, and there's just going to be tables and chairs over here and lounge chairs around here on the other side. So again, that suite deck area, sun deck area, just for the suite class members and the Pinnacle. Now we're gonna head all the way back to the aft elevators where we can access the true part of deck 17, but guess what? It's also for suite guests. All right, deck 17 now, and again, the forward part is just the suite deck with the suite deck bar, the sun deck outside that we saw the entrance to. Here in the aft part, this is where you will access all of the loft suites, all of the two-story suites that we will get to on deck 17, and then technically go up a deck above that. It's not really deck 18, as you can see, just deck 17. But there are a couple of venues to see here, kind of. I say kind of because we don't actually have access to it. That would be the suite lounge, as you can see, right here off the elevator bay. On this side, the port side, is the access to Suite Lounge. So you would tap your C-Pass card or WOW band there, and then you would be able to go into the Suite Lounge, where they have the bar in the middle there, and then they have all the lounge space over to the side, and even the concierge desk to help you set things up. And they'll usually have a little food and beverage station over to the side where you can get little snacks and drinks, and they have the floor-to-ceiling windows to get the view back out to the pool deck. Over on the starboard side, again, right off the elevators, you'll find the entrance to Coastal Kitchen. It's technically the same space that we just saw, just over here on this side. So this is going to be kind of a specialty dining. It's included for suite guests though, for those who are especially in the higher levels, the Star Class and the Sky Class. They will accommodate C-level guests, C-Class level guests, if they have availability. Typically will offer breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So again, if you're a suite guest, this is included for you to dine here exclusively for suite guests. It's basically like your own main dining room, but higher level food. It's better than the main dining room, and you don't have to pay for it like you do with a specialty restaurant. And other than the entrances to the suites, that is everything for Deck 17. Well, there you have it, friends. That is our tour of Royal Caribbean's Allure of the Seas, newly amplified and looking fresh. If you're interested in coming on board Allure of the Seas, as I mentioned earlier, we are travel agents. We partner directly with Royal Caribbean. Our services are completely free to you. There are never any charges, fees, or costs whatsoever, and you'll never pay a single cent more to book with us than you would direct on your own. So please feel free to reach out via that travel agent information you can find in the description of this video and every other video on our channel. And once again, I'll remind you to check out our playlist for the amplified Allure of the Seas, where you can see all of our daily videos and what it's like to set sail from Barcelona. One more final note: if you've recently booked your Royal Caribbean cruise within the past 30 days and you're not paid in full, you can transfer to our agency free of charge, and then we'll be able to assist you the rest of the way. Now, one minor note: we are only legally able to sell to residents of the United States and Canada. So unfortunately, if you reside elsewhere in the world, we cannot assist you. We'd love to, but legally we cannot. But we will hope you enjoy all of the videos, including this one you just saw today. Once again, thank you for joining me for today's video, but I'm signing off. We'll see you next time. Happy travels!